Hello YouTube and welcome to the Body Honesty Project. My name is Lydia and today we are doing a book review of Tess Holliday's Take Up Space, y'all. And we're not alone. I'm doing this review with my friend Katie Bear and Alan Roberts. Hope you enjoy.
We are live. How's everybody doing? My name is Alan Roberts and I am here with Katie Bear and the Body Honesty Project, and we are going to discuss probably the most heinous piece of literature ever put out for your teens and tweens. These two ladies showed me some excerpts from Tess Holliday's book. And first of all, again, for anybody here that's going to be upset about talking about Tess Holliday or whatever, she's an objectively horrible person. So, before anybody gets all caught in their panties, she's objectively horrible. And secondly, somebody should bring up the fact that she looks like she's actually going to explode soon. So, she's very clearly got issues. She's got to be well over 500 pounds now. I mean, I've been doing this a long time. This woman is huge, the biggest she's ever been. She's going to be non-ambulatory before too long. And if anybody actually loved her, she wouldn't be. So, and I really believe that. But you guys introduce yourself. Body Honesty Project, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, my name is Lydia. My channel is the Body Honesty Project. I got on the scene by covering Tess Holliday. I have probably a dozen videos on this woman. I can't stand her, and I'm looking really forward to this debate with Alan and Katie.
We're not debating. I don't think this is going to be a debate. Okay.
Well, we can debate whatever she writes.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. Because I don't want to have to turn that switch on. And Katie Bear, go ahead.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Katie Bear, and you can find me on YouTube and most social media channels under Katie Bear. And at my heaviest, I was 360 pounds, and I've lost 180 pounds now. And I've kept that off. Oh, thank you. Kept that off now for a little over 9 years. So,
wow,
and
really good. So before it became popular, you know?
Right. It's wild, actually, to think about it. When I actually say it out loud, it always blows my mind, actually. And now I talk online a lot about the crap I see in body positivity and fat acceptance, and just a lot of the myths and extreme things I see online. And then I share also doing my 5Ks that I started doing the last few years and trying to inspire more people to do that.
So, Katie, real quick, let me ask you a question. So you said you lost 180 pounds like 9 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So 10 years ago, you were probably one of the only people you saw at that size. Like one of the only women you saw around at that size, right? And now it's like everybody in Walmart. So
it's definitely been a big shift, because at my heaviest, I actually reached my heaviest in the spring of 2008. And it actually took me about 7 to 7.5 years to lose all of the weight. And yeah, I was definitely the biggest person in most rooms that I went into for a long, long time.
And now, that's why when people say it's their genetics, I'm like, our genetics changed that much in the last couple of years? But so I have not read this book that you ladies have read. So I am just going to kind of give the floor to the both of you, and I promise you I'll do my very best not to interject, but ADHD. So I promise you I will try not to. But Lydia, why don't you just get started with some of the stuff you showed me, and then if you want to send me any of the screenshots or anything like that, you can. Well, you know what? We better watch that because she will copyright us very, very quickly.
Okay.
So
I can read out loud.
Yeah, you can read it. You can absolutely read it. But if we share it, I believe, even though it wouldn't stick, she would definitely strike the channel because she absolutely knows who I am. Right. So let's go ahead and both of you just rip it. You guys talk, and I'll just kind of nod my head.
I will start. First of all, say Katie Bear has already done an extensive review of this book, which is why I asked her to come on, because she's already destroyed it in an hour on her channel. So now she's here to give us some of her insights. Okay, so I did not want to have to pay for this, but there was no other way I was going to be able to read it. So I did buy it. I want to start off, and I'm going to get Katie's takes on these as I go. So this is what I found really disappointing. How can it be disappointing? It's Tess Holliday. The first half of the book is just superficial shit. Okay, yeah. It's like, how do I do my makeup? How do I do my hair? How do I pick a cute outfit? That's all the important stuff, right? That you put right up front. Can you repeat that again?
Can you repeat that again with the same accent? I'm just kidding. You don't have to. I'm just kidding. You don't have to. That was a good invitation of her, though. It really was.
But seriously, that is for the first few. It's find your fit, about face, doing the do. Those are the first 3 chapters of how to make yourself pretty. All the stuff that really, really, really matters, of course.
Right. The most important things, of course.
Okay. So before we get into the good, juicy stuff about like the feed me and all that stuff, Katie, do you want to weigh in on what you thought about those first 3 chapters, the finding your fit, like the hair, the makeup, the face, all that stuff?
Well, okay. That annoyed me immediately as soon as I opened this book. I wasn't surprised at all. It was exactly what I expected, to be perfectly fair, considering who wrote this. But it really annoyed the crap out of me because that is not at all what I would teach my kids. I teach them that, like, what matters is on the inside, and then you take care of your outside because you want it to work. You want your body to be in good shape because you want to be able to go do things and be mobile and go play sports and go have fun. Like, this goes against, like, literally everything I would ever teach my children, like, immediately. And then there was one excerpt out of here. This is in right at the beginning, all about finding clothes, okay? The Find Your Fit one. This one, like, oh my God, I cannot believe this made it into the clothing section, okay? The thing is, looking different from how you look right now or achieving some sort of physical milestone, being bigger, thinner, stronger, taller, curvier, shorter, I don't know how that one works, but will not change how you feel inside, even though you might think it's the key to happiness. It isn't. People tend to have a general happiness baseline where they hang out on the sad to happy spectrum. The second we hit whatever physical milestone we think we need to achieve to finally be happy, we get a boost of excitement which lasts a couple of days. But then we do this awful thing and adapt to our new normal. Boo. We settle back into our baseline happiness state, and then we have to hit a brand new goal to get that little burst of excitement again.
Can I go?
Yes.
Does that should actually say shorter?
Yes. I was like, how you take off your heels? What?
That's shorter.
So one of my commenters said they must have an anvil dropped on their head. That's how you can achieve being shorter. I mean,
It actually says shorter in the book.
yes, it actually says shorter in the book. I highlighted it because I could not believe it.
Oh my God. Okay, go ahead.
But then, this is literally in finding your clothes. Some physical milestone isn't going to make you feel happy. Yeah, that's not my experience at all. Like, not even close. Losing 180 pounds, like, that changed my entire life. Absolutely changed my entire life. And another physical milestone that I achieved in this whole thing, I had a really messed up ankle for a really, really long time. Like, over 10 years, I could not walk right. And I finally got ankle reconstruction surgery about 10 years ago. They figured out I tore 2 tendons, 2 ligaments, a bunch of cartilage. They had to reshape my bones. I have cadaver parts in me. I had to learn how to walk again. So achieving that physical milestone, are you freaking kidding me? That was like one of the best things I ever did for my life. And every time I do something I couldn't do before, I am happy. I am so excited. It's not a new goal. It's just, oh my gosh, I can walk. That's amazing. Like, so to see that in here right up front when we're talking about clothes, oh, I wanted to throw the book across the room when I read that. I literally can't even tell you the last time I wanted to stop reading a book because I usually love reading. I wanted to throw this across the room when I read that because that's just not at all my experience.
Yeah.
I just don't even know, like. So this is not for the parents of teens and tweens. This is for teens and tweens, right? Like she aimed it at teens and tweens, right?
Yeah. So when I got to the back of the book, because I was back here trying to actually look for sourcing, which, yeah, I'll get to that in a second. But there's further reading back here, and it's broken down into 12-year-olds and above. And then there's also a section right here for 8 to 12-year-olds. So they think that 8-year-olds are going to read this? No way. I have a 9-year-old and a 10-year-old. And first off, they had no interest in it whatsoever. But I wouldn't even allow them to because there's just so much crap in here that would be counter to what I'm actually trying to teach them.
So, geez, wow. So it starts off with how to do your makeup for 8 to 12-year-olds, right?
Yeah, it was very vague. Like everything I could read on this, like I tried to look up all the marketing on it, and they keep saying teens, but then they'll say tweens or preteens occasionally too. But when I saw that in the back, like it's right there in black and white, 8 to 12-year-olds for further reading. So like that one really got me, like just on a basic level. 8-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 16-year-olds, they are so all very different. They are developmentally different. I can talk to my kids differently now at 9 and 10 than I could at 4 and 5, right? I wouldn't give them the same advice. I would not give an 8-year-old the same advice I would give a 16-year-old. So you would really just, I don't know who this book actually was for. Like, it made no sense to me as I was reading it.
Her ego, if you ask me. I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at her right now, yeah, if you look at her right now, like this is a woman. Like I think, first of all, I think she's desperate. Like what was a year ago? She was literally crying because she wasn't getting hired because people stopped pretending she was a model. But she was never a model. I will always argue that she was never a model. She was a shock value hire. Like, look, we have a 400-pound woman on stage that we've reinforced. You know, like that was literally she should have found it insulting. I think her biggest runway walk, like the New York Fashion Week walk, they literally threw her in a dress called Sample Size.
Yeah.
Like that was her biggest claim to fame. Like, you know, and I just find that like they were actually kind of making fun of you. You don't realize it, you know.
Yeah.
What are some of the other excerpts? I know Lydia, you talked about a few, but Katie and I have not watched your video. Katie, my apologies. I'm working on a massive project, which I'm actually going to tell both of you about in the green room after we're done, because I'm interested on your guys' like take on it. But
okay,
I'm going to start enlisting some people's help.
Well, I'm going to skip after the beauty stuff, and then we're going to get into the first juicy chapter called "Feed Me."
Oh yes.
And like, it's just the worst piece of drivel I've ever read in my life. Okay, it starts off with her 5 fast facts about foods. And I'm not going to read the paragraphs, I'll just read the bullets. Food isn't morally bad or good. Food is personal. Food is fuel. Food is often part of celebrations, and food can be stressful. And that's all she really wants to comment on it, not about nutrition or how much you should eat or anything really important. She just really kind of glosses over what food is, I guess, to Tess. And then she gets into a whole thing on disordered eating. Now, Tess decides that it was a good idea to tell her Anna story. So we all know her Anna story, but she put it in print. She put it in print for pre-teens and teens to digest. Yeah. So this is one of my biggest problems. If this book is genuinely meant for tweens and teens, we did not need any of Tess's backstory in here. Because she didn't, like, we did not need the 500-pound woman to say that she has Anna. Right. In the book. It was completely this is not a biography. She already has a biography out. For me, there was no place for this story. No. In this book, whatever. But she goes through and she says the whole thing. I'll try to read it quickly because we have to see exactly how she quoted it. Her disorder. Tess was diagnosed with atypical anorexia nervosa, which I don't think is a thing. Atypical anorexia nervosa. I thought it was either atypical anorexia or anorexia nervosa. But anyway, she calls it atypical anorexia nervosa. In 2020, through her, though her disordered eating started around 10. She pinpoints the moment when she believes it began. After family tragedy left her mother disabled, Tess was at her aunt's house eating a bowl of Campbell's vegetable beef soup with saltine crackers. Tess put a few crackers into the soup and then a few more. And before long, she'd eaten the entire sleeve of saltines. It filled me up, she said. I felt full. She felt comforted. In 2020, she was speaking on a panel with Anna Sweeney, our dietitian consultant for this book. Anna's message to the audience about feeding themselves based on their instinct stuck with Tess. After the conference was over, she reached out to Miss Sweeney and asked for some help. A couple of long conversations later, Anna thought Tess might have atypical anorexia nervosa. Tess was shocked. "Have you seen my body?" she asked her. "I'm fat." But Anna told her that size has nothing to do with it and referred her to a psychologist who confirmed Anna's expert opinion. Fans and other people online 100% did not like hearing that Tess had an eating disorder. After pressing send on an infamous tweet that explained her diagnosis, trolls all over the web claimed that she was a liar, which was strange because she didn't remember any of them being in the doctor's office when she was diagnosed. Anyway, she exists in a bigger body than some people. And remember, body size is not an indicator of a person's relationship with food. There are some pretty good signs to look out for, though. That could give you a heads up that something might be wrong.
So, just a couple things about that. First of all, if Anna Sweeney, who's a fucking hack, if she diagnosed her with atypical anorexia nervosa, she clearly doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. Second, atypical anorexia does involve weight loss. Like, it is just because the person starts in such a morbidly obese state that they stay in a morbidly obese state until they reach what then they have anorexia. Like anorexia, atypical anorexia eventually converts itself over to anorexia. And that's just, I mean, I'm not making it up. This is just the reality. Secondly, I don't think you're lying. I know you're a liar. Therefore, it's very easy to assume when you say something completely outrageous that you are lying. And I still want the name of this doctor.
I know. The psychologist never stepped forward. Unnamed psychologist.
Right.
I mean, and I just don't believe that. I don't believe any of that happened because she's a liar. Her own brother has said that she steals other people's stories constantly. Her own brother has said this online.
And
but
when
beyond that, I agree with you. I'm sorry, Katie. I don't understand why this story is in there at all. Like, she is now openly trying to normalize anorexia to 8 and 12-year-olds and act like it's no big thing, and to openly say that body size is not an indicator of your relationship with food is wild, like absolutely wild. That's against physics and shit. And no shit, you have an eating disorder. You're planet shaped. Like,
I love that line when she says that people didn't believe she has an eating disorder. I'm like, no, that's not it. We all believe you have an eating disorder.
Right.
Binge eating disorder.
Right. We don't think you have that one. That's what it is. And
Katie, you were going to say something. I interrupted you.
Oh, that's okay. When she's talking about the whole, like, she put the whole sleeve of crackers in the soup and how it filled her up and she felt comforted by that. Like, that, I can relate to that. Of anything in the book, I can relate to so hardcore. Like, I know exactly what it is. And game recognizes game every single time. And it's like watching somebody who is in the throes of addiction, like full-blown addict, telling somebody who has recovered, "Oh, I'm fine, it's cool, everything's under control." And they're not fine, they're not cool, nothing is under control. And we know that because we were there where they were. And it's just ridiculous to see this. Not only that she's saying it, but it's getting published and getting promoted. And then she's going and doing interviews and people don't even really push back on it. It's just ridiculous how they've just accepted what she says. And nobody is questioning this. Like, I have no understanding, because anybody who actually goes on the other side of the spectrum, like I've done, I knew exactly what she meant by that, because I went through that, like, quite a bit until I got it under control. Like, I knew exactly what she meant there. That's binging. That's not restriction at all.
That's absolutely binging. And I mean, the comfort from feeling full, like, and this is a big problem. Like, I coach a lot of people, and that's a big problem. People look for that comfort, especially, like, this has been a very bad week for a lot of people food-wise, just because of everything that's going down. The country's obviously in turmoil again, blah, 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 all that stuff. But people are having a hard time. Like, and so they're, of course, reaching out for comfort. And you see, like, there's the stories of people, like, just consistently, like, they'll eat to feel, and I so relate to that, because I'm a horrible, horrible binge eater. I am 2 days away, by the way, from 4 years and 8 months no binge.
Yay.
But when you read that also, Lydia, I thought the same thing. Like, that's a binge. Like, you were sad, and so you started eating more, and then eating more, and then eating more, and then you were full, and you felt comfort. Like, I know that feeling. my comfort wasn't until I felt like my stomach was going to explode for some reason. But I get it, you know?
Right. I was the same way. Like you almost feel like you're getting a hug from the inside is what it felt like after a while. And you relied on that. And I learned to cope through that. And like realizing now on the other side of it, yeah, that's because I was dealing with so much stuff that I didn't know how to deal with. So that's the only thing I knew how to do at the time. But at some point, doesn't she have to recognize this in herself? Like, I had to have my wake up call, but
she's not going to. Like, and this is the problem with the fat acceptance crowd, like in general. Right? And this is why, like, I don't consider myself mean. A lot of people do. I consider myself the counterweight, right? And apparently, I more I check online, there's more and more people talking like I talk, because it's ridiculous for us to like in any way enable this. Like there's enough ass pats going on. Like we are enabling people at this stage. When you tell a fat person you're fine just the way you are, or slay queen slay, you're looking them right in the face and lie. Like anybody, like it's amazing to me how Tess Holliday can look at herself and not be like, what the fuck did I do to myself? Because I used to think that all the time. Shit. When I look I don't have like hanging over loose skin, but I'm not tight. Like I can pull like 2 inches off my neck. Like I was a big man all the way around. And I still looked at myself like, what the fuck did you do to yourself? Like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Like, you know, it was only cheeseburgers. You could have said no at any fucking time, you know? But nobody's going to do that because they close their ears to anything else. Like, anybody that offers even scientific information, and for many years, I tried to not, like, be as harsh. I really did. But, you know, then they tried to literally, like, destroy my life. So that ended. But there's just no way to reach these people when everything around them, if you go into her comment section is nauseating. Yeah. Right? Nauseating. I can't even do it. But the worst part is this is only two entries into the book. Lydia, go ahead.
I know. I need to read a paragraph. There's so much more, but I wanted to show you that she managed to describe anorexia without mentioning weight loss.
Yeah.
I'm serious. You have to that paragraph. I have to. This is how she describes atypical anorexia, and try not to laugh because she doesn't say weight loss in it at all. It's a psychological disorder, just like anxiety or depression, that comes chock full with a bunch of mental and emotional distress. In fact, because the only difference between atypical anorexia and typical anorexia is body weight. Those with the atypical kind have bodies that are not medically underweight. This distress related to eating and body image can be pretty darn bad, and the risks associated are the exact same. Also, atypical anorexia is much more common than anorexia. The prevalence of diagnosed atypical anorexia by age 20 is triple that of those diagnosed with anorexia. That's it. That is how the girl, she did not mention starving, losing weight, anything.
Right. Nothing. Like she works under the assumption that you already know what anorexia is. So then she's like, well, it's like that. And it's like, but if this is actually...
They're 8 to 12 years old. How do they not know?
Yeah, that's exactly...
They're 8 to 12 years old.
My daughter has no clue what any of this stuff is because I have worked very hard to make sure she doesn't, because I know how detrimental this stuff can be. So, like, working under the assumption that what it is, like, I read the same excerpt on my review, and I was just like, does anybody actually know what this is now based off of this definition? Because I sure as hell didn't. I had to look it up. I mean, obviously I've looked it up plenty of other times because of her, but, like, it works under this assumption that you're already on her side and you're already on the same page as her. And it's like, this is not helpful. Not even in the least.
And when she goes
but yet she's been on, like, mainstream media is eating this up. Like, she's been on multiple shows already.
Oh, yeah.
Disgusting.
And she has this section of, like, you know, little signs to look for if someone has a problem with food. They're all restrictive related. Not a single one of these has to do with binging. It's like, oh, you might have a problem with food if you feel pretty bad about yourself in general. You're focusing constantly on body weight, size, and shape, and less on other things. You're being super scared about gaining weight or having fat on your body. This is problematic behavior. Okay. Fixating on meals, calories, protein, fat content, and so on. This is the best one. This is the best one. This is a problem. Not allowing yourself to eat freely.
Yep, I got that one marked too, because what?
Compensating for something you've eaten, hiding what you eat and feeling more irritable or moody than ever. But she's got a bunch on like any sort of restriction. If you don't eat freely, that's disorder.
That's, I think, the throwback to the intuitive eating portion of that acceptance. Like, remember for a long time, that's how you knew that, like, you can't trust the therapists at all either, because they're always speaking about intuitive eating. And as a newsflash, that's like telling a alcoholic to intuitively drink.
Right.
It's very, like, it's, I don't know, but I lead a very I have a book, Hunger Free and Happy, you know, and I lead a very hunger free and happy life. I don't have physical hunger, and I'm not even using Nomo and alchemy right now. I just don't have physical hunger, right? The way I eat, how I've trained my body over the course of the last couple of years, I know to watch my hydration. I make sure I keep my sleep in check. Like once I get everything in tune, I don't feel hungry at all. I have to like remind myself to eat, which is awesome for where I came from, right? But I can't eat intuitively. There's still always a plan. Like my wife is the genius behind all the stuff we do. People just don't realize it. She's like the most amazing genius fitness instructor that nobody's ever heard of, right? And like she asks me every day, "What is our plan for food today? What are we gonna do?" Like that's what I wake up to. Like it's normally like a half hour afterwards. I have my first morning cup of coffee, and then like, okay, what are we gonna eat today? What do you plan? And then like we plan out like my indulgence every week. Like we'll go out to get something like a small thing of gelato or something like that. It's planned, and then we have a plan for earlier in the day. We have the indulgence, and then we have a plan for the next morning, just in case I get cravings, right? Like people like us, like who have problems with food, it needs to be considered as addiction. I think that's a huge portion that these people don't want to admit. They don't admit that they have an addiction, when in fact they are literally the envisionment of addiction. Like you can see it, right? Well, like Katie, I'm sure you're the same way. I'm sure there's certain food things you don't do. Like I joke about peanut M&Ms all the time. That's not a fucking joke. Like I mean, when I am at a gas station to pick up like a water or something like that, they're always at the front counter, and I always park my truck because my wife's always we're together 24/7. But I always park the truck where she can see the front counter, because if not, I am literally in my mind tempted to buy a pack and throw it in my mouth real quick, chew it, and be done. Like because you hide food when you're an addict. Like that's when she's saying that that's not a problem. That like don't worry about it. Like it's a fucking problem. Like I mean that means you're an addict. Like alcoholics hide the mini bottles too. You know, like it's a very correlating thing. And it's like this is almost like, and Lydia told me that this book was absolutely heinous, like just heinous. And I knew it was going to be because Tess wrote it. Holy shit! Like this is like an instructional manual on how to like allow yourself to have an eating disorder for young children. Like how are parents not fucking pissed about this?
Honestly, I hope it's because most are ignoring it and most people aren't reading it. I really hope that's why I'm not hearing a whole lot of pushback about it, because I really hope that it's just being ignored like it should be, honestly. Because nobody honestly should take this seriously. Like, the not allow yourself to eat freely. Yeah, I definitely had full on food addiction. Now, it wasn't even like it was binge eating disorder, but to that point of full blown addiction at my height, like it was so bad. I've gone over like a full day of what I used to eat back in the day on my channel a few times, and it's horrifying. It's absolutely horrifying. But also, like I was in that addict mindset to where like all I cared about was right now. I didn't care about next week, next month, next year. I didn't care about an hour from now. I just cared about getting my fix right now. So that eventually got me to a point at my heaviest. I had the electric shut off at the apartment I was living in because I wasn't paying my bill anymore because I was going and spending it on food. I lost a car. They repossessed a car, and that still didn't stop me. I got kicked out of my apartment. That's how bad my addiction got. I got my electric shut off, lost a car, and got kicked out of my apartment. All because I chose food every time. And then they sit there and act like food addiction isn't real, or this couldn't possibly be binge eating. And I'm just like, I'm watching it play out in real time, right in front of my eyes, right here. I can literally see it. And I know exactly what that did to me. So why are we trying to promote that to anyone? let alone impressionable teens. Like, just made no sense at all as I was reading through this, who this was actually supposed to help,
You know,
except Tess.
One of the points that she put, when I was reading those 5 points about in the Feed Me about her facts about food, the fact that she put in food is often part of celebrations, this one gets to me, and I'll tell you why. Because the fat acceptance group always has a reason to celebrate.
Yeah.
I had a good day. Let me get my venti triple pump loaded 3,000 calorie frappa, whatever crap, because to celebrate that it's a Monday. Like, you know, like,
right.
they're always treating themselves just because. Just I'm good. Yeah. Like, it's always, there's always a reason. There's always a reason for a treat.
Right. Which, like, okay.
This is so true. Yeah. This is so true. Like, I mean, and I hate to interrupt you guys, but that's something we talk about a lot of my coaching too. And one of the projects I'm working on that deals with ultra processed foods. That's like, it's not even food. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's a food like product, you know? Right. And I just think that, like, if people would realize that, but whenever you see her eating anything, like, show me a video. I can find videos of her eating tacos, videos of her eating a fucking cake from the center of it like a fucking savage, like shit like that. All the while claiming to be anorexic, by the way.
She just had one celebrating one of her interviews. She literally just put one up this week celebrating one of her interviews, eating on camera, and I'm like, yeah, sure. Tell us all about your eating disorder again, Tess.
Not one person that I have ever known, and I have known a lot because I coach people with anorexia too to healthier habits. Not one person that I have known that has anorexia would ever. One of the things we do in coaching is send me pictures of your food. Right? People with anorexia do not do that. We change our coaching model for them because they do not want to talk about their food at all. They would never video themselves eating, ever, like ever. It's something that's completely foreign to people with anorexia, and she does it all the time. Mm-hmm. So it's never a steak. It's never steak and broccoli. It's never a piece of chicken. It's cake, cupcakes, tacos with ultra processed tacos, basically all that shit. And that's the problem. It's ultra processed food addiction. I completely agree with Hectic Moments. It is literally ultra processed food addiction, and you can see it in them. Have you guys? Katie Bear, have you seen her on the Tomorrow Show, the recent one?
Yes.
We don't need to listen to this, folks, but I'm going to put this up. You ladies, give me another excerpt if you can, or whatever you guys want to talk about for a second. I'm going to put this up.
Oh, I actually wanted to share when you were talking about the addiction to like it's ultra processed food. So while I was doing my research for this, I came across a study, and it was really, really super interesting where they took stable males that had stable weights, like for a very, very, very long time, and for 2 weeks they gave them unlimited access to processed food, and then they gave them 2 weeks of unlimited access to healthy food, and some nutritionists made sure that like the macros were at least balanced in both the processed and the not processed. The people ate on average 500 calories a day more of the processed food than they did of the regular food, and they all gained weight. And these are people that have stable weights, okay? Mm-hmm. They don't have no eating problems. Just the presence of them switching their diet for 2 weeks, like it's junk. It didn't fill them up. Of course they gained weight. Right. As soon as they switched back, and again, they're not counting calories. They had unlimited. They eat until you're full. Well, guess what? When they ate until they were full of real food, they ate what they were supposed to eat.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Most people gravitate towards it just on the coaching side of it. We have people that can shake the ultra processed foods and they just eat whole food. That's how I maintain my weight. Like I eat almost no ultra processed food. Like I bet you it's less than 5% of my total. I don't need to bet you. I know it's because I've been doing the project. Like I said, it's less than 5% of my total daily or weekly total calories. Less than 5, easy. And that's normally with an indulgence of some kind, right? But
right.
That's why I'm not hungry. That's how I regulate. But there's multiple other things besides that. First of all, somebody Tess is probably taking in anywhere from 80 to 90% of her calories in ultra processed food. And if you look at the studies on ultra processed food, that is extremely deleterious to the body, but also the brain. It causes very serious cognitive and executive function decline of the brain. And that's why they have like no real critical thinking. They have no self-startedness. That's why they honestly do not like, they basically have the minds of children because they're retarded that way. And by retarded, I mean not retarded like, Alexander Rodriguez's husband. I mean like retarded like, mentally dysfunctional. Anyway, but if I just upset anybody by my jokes, too fucking bad. But this is the last appearance on the show. This is March 7th of 2022 when she was announcing I have anorexia, right, on this Tamara show. Look at the face. Hang on. Look at the face. Everybody look at the face, all right? This is her on the Tamara show right now. Come on. Let me see if I can find it where they zoom in on her.
Oh.
Here we go. It's coming, I think.
She's in black in that one.
Yeah. Yeah. This one's newer. This is from the other day. Apparently, I can't find where they just show her face. But first of all, I just want to say the couch is real hero here. But she's much bigger than what she was.
She's taking up space.
That's not a brag. It's so weird. They show a close-up of her, and like the close-ups, and I do not like, again, objectively horrible woman. Don't care for her, but even though the internet thinks I'm this horrible person, I really am worried for this woman's health. Oh, there it is. Hang on.
Yeah, I saw her chins.
Yeah.
That is just.
And this is someone who's apparently suffering from Anna, so shouldn't she have been losing weight?
Right.
Yes. She looks like gained 100 more pounds, in my estimation.
Yeah.
And that's very sad and frightening for her and her family, and anybody that loves her. It's very, very sad. And she has to, I mean, she's obviously, I think it's more excerpts where she talks about depression and stuff like that with 8 to 12-year-olds too. Like,
right. And then another thing like that drove me nuts in this book. Okay. At the end of each chapter, they've got these stupid little quizzes in here. Like it's like a teen magazine or something, which is fine. They didn't do it for me, but it's whatever. But when you get to the end of the section on Feed Me, after we talk about eating disorders and all of this, what is the quiz? Which dessert are you? Like, what the hell is that supposed to help anything? Like, we just talked about all of these awful eating disorders, right? Or skirted around them mostly, so Tess could talk about herself. And then let's go ahead and talk about which dessert are you? Oh, that's not good enough. Tess gave us Tess gave us a recipe. We have a recipe right here for banana pudding popsicles. Because yes, that's exactly what someone with anorexia does. They share their banana pudding popsicle recipe for everyone because that's going to solve all of the eating disorders in the world, evidently. Like, they just didn't have a recipe, I guess. Like,
I actually applaud the effort that she's at least talking about cooking with children, because children need to learn how to cook. I would argue that maybe children should learn how to cook some vegetables instead of,
Yeah, it's prepackaged. Let's put it all together from prepackaged stuff. There's no cooking going on in this.
The first ingredient is Jell-O banana pudding. And it also has Nilo wafers or graham crackers. Yeah, there's bananas in it, but there's a lot of there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ingredients, and 4 of them are like sprinkles, graham crackers, pudding mix. Bananas are last on the list.
Right, you could just eat the banana and be fine. You'd be all right with just the banana. It's okay. Like, I don't understand how that, like, it just felt like whiplash, honestly, after all of that. And then you get to, which dessert are you? Like, that just kind of summed up how vapid most of this book was. And just like, there was no actual substance for any of these subjects.
I also think that, okay, in my opinion, these quizzes are the opposite to what she's apparently telling you in this book. March to your own beat, like, to be your own person, do your own thing. Take this quiz. Now I'll tell you who you are.
Right. And it's only one of the 5 or 6 on the list. You can't be anything else.
Yeah,
But
it's like I only answered 3 questions, but you're going to tell me that I am. Oh, you are effortlessly polished. Am I? Like, why are you telling me who I am? You're a chocolate cake. Am I?
It sounds like
one
beach
of the
rats.
answers. One of the answers for like who's your style icon. One of the answers is Tess. No, I am not her. Like, please don't compare me to her at all. Yeah.
All right, next chapter. Keep going. What do we got?
Okay, we have a chapter called Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Okay, so there's a bunch of things that are wrong with this, but I'm going to go into the part that really pissed me off the most because I felt like I could do a whole video on just this. So I'm going to try to read this quickly and then I'll give a lot of context, okay? It's 2 paragraphs and I will try to, but this is important, okay? Okay, so this is talking about the genetics of size. So she's going to quote Harvard, and she's going to say that Harvard researchers don't say that you can out-habit your genetics. So it says, while habits can impact overall health, body size isn't necessarily a reflection of the habits you have. One guy who runs every day might be bigger and have more fat cells than another guy who has never worked out in his life. Genetics are a thing. You can't always out-habit DNA and tell fat cells to sit tight because they just might be needed. Some folks in bigger bodies descend from ancestors who needed to store fat to stay alive through famines. And those genes swam on down through history and landed in the cell and landed in their cells. Sorry, I'm laughing because this is ridiculous. In fact, this is 80% of the reason some people are in bigger bodies. The myth is that
the wording on that's funny. 80% of some people.
Right, I caught that too. The wordplay in this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay, there's one last paragraph. The myth is that bigger size equals poor health, bad habits, and lack of effort. That can be true for some people, but researchers disagree that it's true for all people. And those of us on the sidelines cannot tell the difference between the two. Okay. Oh, okay. So many things to say, The first one that I have to comment on. I don't expect children, and in all honesty, I don't expect most adults to understand that fat cells do not equate to fatness. It's the swelling. I can have more fat cells than Katie, and me and Katie can be the same weight. Because when your fat cells expand, that's when you get fat and they shrink. But when you're talking to a child, and you're telling them, oh, you have more fat cells, that is true. But it doesn't equate to fatness. And I find that it's so disgusting to write it this way. Yeah. About genetically, you will have more fat cells than someone else, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's true, but fat cells grow and shrink, and that part is left out.
Right. And it doesn't mention at all what those 2 people eat. You have no idea if the runner is like going home and shoveling calories in their mouth or like none of that's addressed, of course. It's just, oh, you can't change it. So why try, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll also make this argument. First of all, the whole genetics thing is ridiculous because if you're Katie, if your basal metabolic rate is half of Lydia's, that sucks for you, but it doesn't mean you can't avoid being fat. There's not one human being alive or dead that could not avoid morbid obesity. For some of you, it may suck a little bit more. Reality. I mean, for some of you that have hypothyroidism, I would also take a look at maybe if you were put on hormonal birth control when you were young, because women that are put on hormonal birth control when they were young have a 40% more chance of developing hypothyroidism and 30% more chance of developing PCOS. So blame the doctor that now tells you that it's not your fault for having those things. But also, reality exists, and not one person cannot lose weight. Beyond that, also, say it is true. Say Tess is just fat because of her hormones. She's literally fucking telling every goddamn person not to have sex with her because they might procreate with her and make a fat baby because her genes are fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. At a certain point,
I'm sorry, but we are biologically, we are genetically and evolutionarily hardwired to find healthy mates, right? So this woman who claims to be pansexual, whatever fuck else she fucking claims, I don't give a fuck, because the thought of her having sex makes me fucking want to vomit. But you're telling people, I am not going to be a good spouse. I am going to die young. I am going to be expensive. I am going to draw on resources. These are realities for people. And I know that nobody wants to admit that, but if you're morbidly obese, you are more of a burden to society. Period. I was morbidly obese too. I was a burden. I ate way more food than I possibly needed to be that fat. Way more, especially because I was working out a lot too. I was eating like 8,000 calories a fucking day. You know, like that is selfish. Like I think about all the money I spent that I could have like used for like other shit in my family. Like it's selfish, greedy shit. And not to mention that reality exists, and it's not your genes. It is what you're eating. It's the food all the time.
Right. And I've noticed, not just in here, but I've noticed this has been a talking point more and more recently, that if you ever experience famine in your family's history, that you'll be more you'll have a higher propensity for obesity or something. What culture out there hasn't experienced famine at some point? Like, if you go back in human history, it's pretty prevalent before we had modern food sources. Like, famines happened all the time, all over the world. So how is it that just now, all of a sudden, like, yeah, some of my family came over from the Irish famine, but like, why didn't those genes show up until I got 360 pounds? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And like, you mean to tell me it was only that famine that caused it? Like, there's been so many famines that have happened all over the world throughout the course of history that I can't imagine that there'd be like anyone at this point that hasn't had some of the effects at some point in their lineage. Like, it makes no sense to me.
If you look even 150 years ago, it's not like food was just falling out of the damn sky. We didn't even have cars 150 years ago. Like, there was not like transportation of food was not a real thing. You either grew it or you hunted it. That's like, and that's not that far removed. And as a newsflash, that meant that for half the year, that's how feasting became a real thing. That's why our holidays are based around food, which is a problem, because you would harvest and you would eat as much as you could of the food to make sure it didn't go to waste, because there was only so much you could preserve, especially without refrigerators. So like, you would eat as much of it as you could, and it would fatten you up, and then you kind of starved over the winter. For the most part.
You would use that fat. It was not a waste, because you would build the fat and then you'd use the fat.
Right. It was just nature's refrigerator before we came up with refrigeration. That was it.
Right.
Like, yeah.
So crazy. The excuses that are made, like, and this is like a blow by blow excuses of the fat acceptance community aimed towards children, which is absolutely just literally 100% is absolutely objectively just disgusting.
Well, what I really dislike is also when she starts off this paragraph with Harvard researchers say, okay, I looked up the damn article, and what's really disgusting is, that article, it talks about genetics at the top. You have to scroll 1 inch down, I swear to God, and it says food is the only reason that causes obesity. So it's like, I don't like that she's using Harvard to say something. Harvard didn't say it. Harvard talks about genes. You scroll down that article, it talks about food. Like,
and then the other thing, you even took it a step further, Lydia. I kind of refused because I thought this was so lazy. There's no sources back here. There are no printed sources at all in this book.
Well, I started Googling Harvard DNA, Harvard research, 80%, and then I found it. I found what she's talking about, but that same article talks about food too.
But we got a QR code back here so we could scan it to try to find it, or apparently some websites, but you can go and you can update a website after it's been published. So I don't like that at all. I want it printed in here, like, show me what you used. I don't like that at all. There was one little tiny bit of sourcing somewhere in here. And, here it is. They did source one table properly. They actually have the footnotes right underneath here. And it's all about the demographics of the modeling industry, because that matters to, again, 8-year-olds. But they can do it. They absolutely could have sourced their stuff, and they chose not to. That was so lazy.
Here's my take, right? Nobody else is buying her bullshit anymore. So she has to tell it to children. Like, this woman has to, like, be able to state her truth, which no greater words have hurt society more than your truth. There's just the fucking truth. But it sounds like nobody would believe her truth anymore, so she needs to talk to 8-year-olds and 12-year-olds about it.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I would like to read this excerpt, which I think is probably one of the worst parts of the book, which is Tess's advice for living in a larger body. So this is what Tess is telling every overweight teen. Okay. If you are in a thicker body, you're not alone. Not by a long shot, even if it feels that way. Here's some of Tess's advice to make it easier. Use a smoothing stick like Body Glide or Mega Babe Thigh Rescue to prevent chafing between thighs or underarms. Number 2, keep all your little dips and bumps in your body clean and dry to prevent rashes. If you get a rash, get medical help before it becomes a problem. 3, stretch, even if you can't do any other movement that day. 4, big people need proper, stable footwear. 5, live your life. You are allowed to have fun exactly as you are now. And last but not least, number 6, not to be that girl, but take up space. When you're in a larger body, people can try to make you feel bad about needing a bigger seat or more room in a photo. Don't apologize for existing in the body you live in. And that's what Tess has to tell overweight.
She's speaking to these 8 to 12-year-olds as if they're like, adults. Not to be that girl. Like, they're supposed to know what the fuck that means.
Right.
Like if they do, you're being a bad parent, by the way.
There is one thing in here I did agree with, though. There's one thing up above the excerpt you just read, Lydia. Mm-hmm. There is one, I think, truthful statement in this whole section. And it's, for example, Tess moves her body 20 minutes a day. And I think if we include every moment that she's moving and walking around and go to the bathroom and everything, yeah, it's probably 20 minutes a day. The rest of it. I think 20 minutes is pretty accurate. I think that's probably the most accurate statement in this whole book.
Yeah, probably 20 minutes.
Oh, crazy.
So what do we think of the advice she's giving fat teens? But it's all about, like, make sure you don't chafe and smell.
Yeah, pretty much. And don't worry, you're not alone.
The chafing thing, just to be very honest, like if you've abused your body with food to the point where your body hurts your body when you move, like, because that's what chafing is. Your body is hurting your body, But if you're that big, like, it's unhealthy to begin with. I talk about this all the time, and this is where I think I really upset most of them, because it's not arguable, but there's not one morbidly obese person that's healthy for multiple reasons. Like, and I always talk about the ejection fraction of the heart. Like, Tess's heart is the size of a woman, of like your guys' size heart, right? Mm-hmm. So imagine how hard that ticker's got to be working, right?
Yeah.
Not to mention that, but she probably eats a diet almost predominantly made up of ultra-processed food, so there's some sort of systemic inflammation going on and neuroinflammation, which is causing her to be crazy, but also it makes it so the heart doesn't work as well. So her ejection fraction is probably low too. So it wouldn't surprise me if she's at the standing up and getting very busy stage, at all. It wouldn't surprise me. But then if you look at how the existence of, connective tissue, cartilage, ligaments, bone is in the same reality as gravity, your load-bearing joints when you're big are just taking a beating. I know my lower back, my lower back hurts because I was fat, not because I squatted that much. My lower back hurts because I was fat. Like, all the time it hurts. I have disc degeneration on my lower back. Not bad. I still work out every day. I still feel great, and pain's a part of life, right? But one of the biggest things I think that people don't understand, especially women, morbidly obese women cannot possibly be considered healthy just because it affects your walking gait. And women's walking gait is already 12 degrees farther out. Like, it's called the Q angle of the hip. It's where, like, your femur comes up and then you have a little notch that comes out. And this is the Q angle, because this is the neck of the femur. And then you have the ball of the hip that goes into your hip socket, right? And this neck for women is at a 17-degree difference than men, right? It's one of the reasons why men can't become women, women can't really become men. No matter what surgeries you get, because you can't alter this. And that causes your legs to valgus easier. That's why the number one injury for female soccer players is ACL tears, and the number one injury for male soccer players is concussions. Because while female soccer players get concussions at a high rate, they almost all end up blowing out their ACLs, because when you go to make a sharp cut, your knee is put under what's called shear force and the valgus. So your knee goes in a little bit because you are already at a wider, your Q angle is already wider. So if a woman, your femurs are supposed to go like this, your legs walk like this, right? As you're fat, they come out like this, and they already have a larger Q angle. So this is where your knee would be. This is where your ACL would be. So your ACL is already under tremendous pressure. That's why when you see a lot of very fat women, it looks like their legs are collapsing inward. It's because their body's adapting to it, the extra weight being on top of it. And instead of just letting the ACL go, it stretches over time to the point where it gets loose, and that's why their knees go in. So it's impossible to even think that they're healthy. And for her to just kind of belittle it, it's just very, very, very super damaging to young women. And I know this is weird, but like, I shouldn't be the feminist between me and Tess Holliday trying to protect women. Like that, don't get me wrong. I'm a big supporter of women. My wife is my queen. I think anybody that ever watches my channel knows that, I think the world of her. And she is more capable of things than I am. I am literally like the brute force of shit. That's all I am. I'm the brute force and the crazy. I have the crazy and the brute force. That's all I have. But at the same time, this is very damaging to women. Very, very damaging to even put this shit out there. And it's disgusting what we've done to women to the stage. As of 2018, the average woman was morbidly obese by waist to height ratio. And people don't talk about that enough because that's the actual fat that kills you. But the average woman had a 38.7-inch waist in 2018, and they were 3.5 inches tall. That's a waist to height ratio of 0.601. That's unhealthy, and it's just getting worse. And then we put this out here that this is damaging to women in general. Like if you're a woman out there listening, and I really mean this because I am married to a very strong, very independent, massively intelligent, incredibly gorgeous woman, and I'm lucky to be in her life every single day. And you deserve better than being morbidly obese. You deserve better than mistreating your body. I really believe that all of you deserve better than thinking you have to put makeup on your faces to impress people, because that's not healthy either. But I understand my wife still wears makeup, and I wish she didn't. But more than anything else, if any woman out there, I got to tell you, it's understandable that you don't want people to mention something that you're self-conscious about. It's understandable that you don't want people to talk about you being fat. I get it. But to just accept it and not do anything about it, you deserve more than that. Every single woman out there, you motherfuckers give birth. No, men could not take that shit. Trust me. I get a cold and I'm the fucking 2-year-old. Like, no shit. I have zero fucking tolerance for pain or any of that shit. So if you're out there, don't buy into this bullshit. You gotta stop. You were meant to be as athletic as men, just not as strong. When we were evolving, nobody was lazy. Nobody just sat around. Everybody moved all the goddamn time. That's evolution. Only in the last 50 or 60 years has it gotten to the point where women are expected to be weak. Like women have always been strong, just in other ways. Shit. During World War I and World War II, women ran the households. There was a huge thing because I'm a off-gridder. There's a huge thing about how women raised rabbits to subsidize homes. They actually raised rabbits, raised farms, raised the kids, did all that shit while the men were off at war. You can be very, very, very strong. You just cannot let society convince you that you're supposed to be fat and weak. It's a huge thing. I wish more people could understand that. I'm sorry to get preachy, but go ahead and keep going.
I actually have a question for both of you because I didn't know how I would do it. So let me back up with my first point. The book talks about movement as their health part. And I am so movement, of course, exercise is important, but we all know that you can't outrun a bad diet.
Right.
How would you get that message to teens? Alan, in a gentle way, teenagers, kids, how do you tell that to them? I think that we're missing the mark by telling them movement is enough, because movement is not enough. But how do you do it? They're not adults. So how would you present the information that you do need to work on what you eat too?
Katie, you go ahead first.
Well, okay. So I've definitely talked with my kids quite a bit about this over the years, because they've seen my old pictures. They've asked what kind of videos I make. They are curious about some of this stuff, so I tell them. I focus on how does the food make you feel? Does it give you energy? Does it make you feel stronger? Are you like, and I'm of course making sure as their parent, they're getting all the proper nutrients, but they already know protein's going to give them strong muscles, calcium's going to give them strong bones. They know those basic things. Like, and I try to keep it just on very basic levels, trying to keep it the whole food is fuel. In and of itself, when she put that in there, that isn't necessarily bad, but of course then the paragraph after it completely like discredits everything that she says and basically takes into account that there's no difference between foods, which my kids already know that. They're like, they've already been able to understand that. And so I really try to just focus with them on being able to make sure that your body is able to do what it should. So I tell them how I couldn't tie my own shoes when I was 360 pounds, how I was having trouble walking around, and that those things were just not good for me. And it's so much better now. And I even ask them, like, aren't you glad mommy can run around with you guys now? And they always tell me yes. So they understand to some degree, but I try to just keep it in very general terms and not harp on it. And then as their parent, I'm going to be guiding them, even if they don't know it, even if I'm not going to just come out and say it. Like, if I see, oh, hey, maybe they're getting maybe a little rounder, we might need to start going outside more. We might need to take a look at what they're eating. We're just going to, gently guide them is what I try to do. I don't want to hit them over the head with any of this. I just want to make sure they're aware and that they know that I've already been through all of this. So they can't, like, they're never going to come to me with something that I'm going to judge them for on this. Because, I mean, like, literally, my food addiction story, like, that would be the one thing anyone could judge me on. And so, like, I'm never going to judge them on any of those things. I just want to make sure that they know the correct ways to take care of their bodies. And, like, and not just that, like, for everything, like, how they can take care, like, wash their hair, how they can make sure that they are dressed properly for the weather, all those things. So I just kind of try to tie it all in, like, this is how we take care of our bodies. And I don't really try to focus too much on the negative side of things, because I know how much that they could like fixate it on it at these ages. So I really just try to focus on like when you eat these things, you have plenty of energy to go out and do this. And then we can go to the park and let's go run at the playground for a couple of hours and go play. And all of that just fueled you, just like when we put gas in the car and I fuel up my car. And they understand that concept. And they know that if I put too much gas in my car, it's going to leak out onto the pavement everywhere. And that's going to be a big problem. And that if you eat too much, you can end up right where I was. And that is definitely a huge problem too. Mm-hmm. So they are aware of these things, but I really try to shield them from some of the more extreme, crazy things that I'm seeing, like especially with fat acceptance and body positivity and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Alan, how do you talk to teens about this stuff without being a jerk?
I grew up at a different time than you guys, so and if my son is in the chat,
I'm the same age as you.
Well, I grew up with different parents, though. So.
Okay.
But very clearly, you're not special. You need to work hard, and if you have a problem, it's your responsibility to fix it. That's what was told to me, and that's how I really believe. When we coddle, like coddling has gotten us here, in many ways in society. When you coddle mental illness, it just breeds more mental illness. When you tell a child that the option is to, like, well, if you've got a problem, we'll deal. No. I'll be here for you, but you need to take the self-startedness to fix that shit. Like if my son is a highly intelligent person, works for me, and he appreciates the lessons that we taught him. Because very frankly, I think that's what separates people. Because they need to know that the world is not going to just hand them shit. They need to know that if they've got a problem, they've got to fix it. I got myself into an eating disorder. It happens. It's just like people from my generation, our generation. Plenty of them became alcoholics, but they had to fix it. We expect them to fix it. Their family can help them, but nobody can help them but themselves. And that's the biggest thing. Children nowadays, one of the biggest problems with children is that their parents will feel guilty about not having the foods in the house. Foods that, mind you, they know they shouldn't eat, and they have a problem controlling themselves with. It's a huge thing with my clients, where they'll say, well, I have this in the house because of my kids. Like, if you have a hard time controlling yourself with it, why are you feeding it to your children? Especially if they're genetically predominantly made up of the same thing, they're probably gonna have a problem with it too, right? So the thing is, and I don't consider that being a jerk. I really don't. I'm of course not going to swear at the kid, but I'm going to say, look, you have to work hard for shit you want in life. I wouldn't say shit, but you have to work hard for things you want in life. That is the difference. You are, and I've even said, like, overconsumption is greed. It just absolutely is. You want to be a good person to the rest of your family and the rest of society. You want to make sure that you don't overconsume and burden other people. At the same time, you can work hard to get to the point where you can be, you can consider yourself special. But until then, you are not special just by existing. And I think that that's the problem. People think that they're so special nowadays that they're just given stuff, that they're owed stuff. It's the same thing, like you see it from the fat acceptance people all the time. Like, fat people are owed respect. Why? Like, somebody tell me why. Like, I don't understand. Like, I've never understood that. Nobody is owed respect. Respect is earned. Mm-hmm. And when the sooner people understand that, the younger people understand that, the less they're going to actually expect people to just respect them. My son had a friend in high school, right? This kid had a loud ass mouth, like loved talking back to people. And he would be like, well, I'm 17. What are you going to do? I'm 16. What are you going to do? He would talk to adults, like really shitty. Never me, but I've watched him talk to adults, very shitty. Pudgy little fat fucking kid who had never been in a fist fight his entire life. Turned 21 and almost got himself beat the fucking death. You know what I mean? Like, because he didn't learn his goddamn lessons. That's the thing. When if your child is fat, most of the time it's your fault. And you need to help them out with that. That's you. But if your child still does not think that they need to control their food, you need to make sure they understand they do. If they think they can just sit down and do nothing, you need to make sure they understand they need to get up. And I know that's a different scenario, but I consider saying the hard things to people when other people won't. I consider that the nice thing. Mm-hmm. Like, I truly do. And I think society has lost that. I don't lack empathy. Other people do. If I wasn't empathetic to fat people, I'd tell them to eat all the goddamn pizza as much as they could, as fast as they fucking could, because then they wouldn't be burdened in society. Like, if I didn't like fat people, if I hated fat people like everybody thinks I hate them, I would tell them to eat more. You know why? Because it ends them faster. Like, I had a bunch of people in my comments earlier today talking about, like, oh, poor David from the show, like this one guy from the Biggest Loser just died or something like that, or something just died. He was 600 pounds. I have a hard time feeling bad for him because it's not like he didn't know. It's not like he didn't see. Like, Katie, you knew you were in trouble. That's why you changed your shit. Like, that's the lesson. Like, okay, you fucked up. I fucked up. Literally, you fucked up. We all fixed it. Like, that's the lesson. The lesson was nobody came to fucking save either of you. Nobody came to save me. Well, my wife. But, like, nobody outside of your immediate family came to save you. Right. You saved yourself. That's why in my comment section all the time, when somebody says I lost X amount of weight, I pull it up and I put it on screen and I call them a hero. And I tell everybody to congratulate them because they are a hero, because they're the ones that did it. Even clients of mine will be like, you helped me lose 150 pounds. No, the fuck I didn't. I said some shit that resonated with you and you're the one that did the hard work. I'm not going to take credit for if you fail and regain the weight. I'm definitely not going to take credit for you losing the weight. I just happened to do what you paid me to do and I was able to relate it to you. That's the difference. Nobody's there for you. Nobody is going to save you. If you are morbidly obese, you need to save you. If you want to tell your child not to be fat, show them pictures of diabetic foot amputations. I'm serious. Like, show them what really can happen, because we have sugarcoated this shit. Nobody talks about diabetic foot amputations. They happen like every 30 seconds. Yeah. In America. Every 30 seconds. Like, the new in vogue thing, sooner or later, for most of these fat acceptance people is going to be to, see how they look with their prosthetic, And if you want your child to, like, I went through the era of scared straight. They made sure people didn't want to go to jail because they showed you what fucking jail looked like. You don't want to be fat? Show them what fat really looks like. And it's not prim and proper. Tess Holliday goes, oh, you can eat whatever you want, blah, 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 with 5 pounds of makeup and 25 filters on her face and still looking like she's on Globe. It's like, being truly good to people is not lying directly to their face. And that's what political correctness is. Yeah. Our children nowadays are their sense of reality is so skewed. And part of it is they shouldn't know half the shit that they know. They shouldn't be exposed to half the shit they know. When I was in high school, my teachers were still like these entities that I didn't even think had personal lives. I didn't know anything about them when they fucking got out of school. I didn't know anything about their marriages. I didn't know anything about anything like that. No, right. What'd you say?
The way it should be.
The way it should be. I mean, it wasn't this influx of like we were go outside and come home when it's dark was literally the thing. Go play,
Right. Come back when the street lights came on.
now these kids, 12-year-olds, like 12-year-olds are worried about like fashion and shit like that. I mean, like high fashion. Shut the fuck up. Go put in some mud. You know, like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Get dirty. Like, you know, that's my thing. And I know that I know that I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and I understand that. But I'm also very, like, I've had people ask me how I can live with myself. Extremely fucking well. I sleep like a goddamn baby now. And when I can turn the ADHD off, I sleep like a fucking baby. Because I know I haven't lied to people's faces about shit. If I went up to Tess Holliday and be like, oh, you look so healthy and so good. I know I'm lying. She knows I'm lying. I know that she knows that I'm lying. But yet political correctness says that we're going to continue on with that because the lie is better than hurting somebody's feelings. No, the fuck it's not. It's just absolutely not. So that's my rant for the day, guys. Sorry about that.
I think that those hosts that pump her tires are the worst because you damn well know that the second that she leaves, they're like, thank God I don't look like her. Oh my God, can you believe that? Are you telling me they're pumping her tires? Oh, you look so beautiful. You look so healthy. Thank you. Like, those women that are interviewing her, they don't want to be her.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
they don't think
that's the same thing as how the whole Lizzo thing. Everybody was like, you know, everybody thinks Lizzo's gorgeous until somebody says that you look like Lizzo, and then they get fucking pissed. You know, like even still, because she's still big, you know. But before, like they were like, oh, Lizzo's great. Oh, you look like her. They'd be getting fucking mad. Yeah. Because it's an insult, and everybody knows it. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
Is there anything more from the book, guys?
Gosh.
Okay,
we got a little bit of time, but I got to wrap it up here.
Okay, I'll just mention one thing. She has a whole chapter on nixing standards, and we all know there's only one standard, right? So she went on for a chapter about how she was pivotal in, like, you know, dismantling beauty standards, and she talked about the F your beauty standards. What did she do? Just said do everything else but be fat. That's all she did.
Yep. That was exactly it. We all know the beauty standards she doesn't follow. She follows every other one,
right?
But that one.
She's not really following that one anymore. Her face looks. She looks like she looks like she's in the throes of some sort of very serious illness right now. Mm-hmm. Like,
I wouldn't doubt it.
Well, I mean, look at the face.
No.
And that's with makeup and filters and like, and by the way, this is another thing too. She always talks about beauty standards. If Tess Holliday carried weight in her face the same way that other fat women carried weight in their face, nobody would have ever known her fucking name.
Yep.
Ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ever.
She's very fortunate about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so, ladies, where can everybody find you? I had a great time having you guys on. If anything dealing with Tess, I'd love to have you guys on again. This was a lot of fun for me. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's great to hear other people's opinions on shit like this. But again, General Hospital starts in a little bit, and it's a Monday episode, and Drew's still in the hospital, so I got to go. So please tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me on YouTube and most social media platforms under Katie Bear, and you can find the full book review that I did on Tess Holliday just this last week, the most recent video I just put up.
Katie's very brave. She just followed me on Twitter, and that's where I say all my political shit. She's very brave.
My name's Lydia. You can find me on YouTube at The Body Honesty Project and on Instagram at Mom That Dances.
That's awesome. And Lydia, I'm very happy you're back to doing videos again. I think you've got a very good insight, very good logic engine, and I think there was a void missing when you took your hiatus. So I'm very happy that you're back.
Thank you. I like to prove things with science.
Hell yeah! So everybody, I hope you tune in tomorrow. I'm going to be talking about some random shit, I'm sure. So my name is Alan Roberts. Thank you very much. Thank you two ladies for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. It was a great conversation, and I hope to see all of you guys tomorrow. Goddamn.
Goddamn.